Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the DCAP. I'm your host, Dominic Capilupo, and today I will be talking about the struggles of the New York Giants, and I will also predict every Week 7 game in the NFL this week. So, let's get started today by talking about the New York Giants. And it's no secret that this team has struggled all season, as they are now 1-5 in last place in the NFC East, which has been a really weak division this season. So, it's not necessarily over for the Giants. They're only 2.5 games out, but it's definitely going to be a tough ride back up, and they have to start by winning their own games. They can't worry about other teams like the Cowboys, Eagles, and Redskins losing until they start winning. And right now, the team has the potential, but they just aren't showing it. And it all starts with that offense. That offense has been very shaky this season, up and down. One week they put up 31 against Carolina, then the next week they only put up 13 against the Eagles. It's just a very inconsistent offense. And a lot of people have really put the blame on Eli Manning, and I don't put all the blame on Eli Manning. I think Eli Manning has been dealt a bad hand. Obviously, he's got Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham on that offense, Evan Ingram at tight end, but the offensive line is really the biggest factor for that team, and it's simply mind-boggling because the Giants' offensive line last year was horrible, and all 5 starters on that team from last year are no longer on the roster, as they just released Eric Flowers a couple weeks ago, and he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Because the Giants put all that money into Nate Solder for New England, who was really good, and so far this year, he's been mediocre at best. Definitely not worth the money he's been paid. And then you had Eric Flowers start the season, and then they finally benched him in Week 3 against the Texans, and they ended up winning that game with Chad Wheeler. Then you got Will Hernandez that they drafted this year, and he is a rookie, so there's a little bit more leeway with him, but I think it's going to take more. For Will Hernandez, you want to definitely see him pick it up. I think we'll see him pick it up throughout the season. And then you got Greco and Omama, who have been alright. Maybe they're still not as good. Just to put this into perspective, Eli Manning has been sacked 20 times this season in 6 games. That is awful. He is almost on pace for about 45 to 50 sacks, and the most times he's been sacked in a season in his career is 39. So right now he's on a record pace to be sacked the most times in a season. So let's look at Eli Manning. He's got 1,662 yards. He's at 68.7% completion percentage, which right now is on pace for to be his highest completion percentage in his career. He also has 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I will say those 2 of those interceptions were batted off receivers or bad at the line of scrimmage. The one against Jacksonville, the pick 6 with Miles Jack, that was just unlucky, bad at the line of scrimmage, and he got it. And then he threw 2 against Carolina. I'll put that one on Eli. And then last week against the Eagles on the second play of the game, it kind of got batted in the hands. So obviously Eli could be playing better, but it's just hard when he has no time to throw the ball. We go to Odell Beckham, and he has 45 catches, 506 yards, and 1 touchdown, and he's only got 6 catches for 20 more yards. You expect more from Odell Beckham, but honestly, it all goes back to the offensive line. The Giants have been doing a lot of dink and dunk plays, and it's not really working. And the reason they're having to do this is because Eli Manning doesn't have time to look down the field. It's just he's got pressure, so he's got to just throw it to who he sees. There's no time to throw the ball down the field, and people are complaining about that. But Eli Manning even said he wants to throw it down the field just as much as everybody else does. And he just doesn't have time to do that. You need time for routes to develop downfield, and there's just no time for it. It takes me back to 2016. The Giants' offense was not that great, but that defense really prevailed that season. And you look like the big plays weren't coming from throws down the field. Like you go back to that Sunday night game against Dallas where Odell Beckham just turns a slant and takes it to the house. That's what the Giants are really relying on, and defense are picking up on that. It's just very hard. Evan Ingram's been injured for the last few weeks. That hasn't helped Eli either. We're having Brett Ellis as the number one tight end. He's more of a blocking slash, kind of red zone, short kind of game plays. He doesn't bring that explosiveness and that receiver-like ability like Evan Ingram does. And the Giants will hopefully get Evan Ingram back here this Monday night against the Falcons. And then the defense has been really iffy. That defense has kept them in games. It's really been a bend, don't break kind of defense. And it seems like the first half of games, this defense keeps the Giants in the game. And then the second half, when that offense just doesn't do anything, the defense is getting tired. The offense is going out there 3 and out, and then the defense just gets winded. So, the defense it's nowhere near the top defense in the NFL, but it's not the worst defense in the NFL. So if the offense can get on the field, keep some possession, I think the defense can hold its own. You've got great players on there like Janoris Jenkins, Landon Collins, Eli Apple stepping up this year. We got better linebackers this year with Alec Ogletree and Connor Barwin. Just got to take advantage of it. Damon Snacks Harrison, he's been keeping that run game, in check on the other team. That's what he needs to they just need to keep that defense off the field as much as possible. And better things are going to happen. So, and special teams, I look at Audric Rosas. He's done great this year, actually. He had a little struggles last year, but he's come back this year, and he's only missed 1 field goal, but that was because he had a quad injury, and it was a 52-yard field goal, didn't reach. So, I'm not going to do too much on him. Dixon, he's done good punting. It's definitely been a small improvement over Bradley. And then, the one bright side on this team is probably Saquon Barkley. He's arguably putting himself in position to be the best running back in the NFL. He's such a receiving threat, and he's just a run. He is just so hard to take down, and he is just so explosive. I don't care what anyone says, but I think that people say the Giants made a mistake taking Saquon Barkley in the draft this year and not go for quarterback. But Dave Gettleman was right. You got to take the best player available in the draft. And that's what the Giants did. They took Saquon Barkley. You could probably get a top franchise quarterback almost every year from now, but you're not getting a Saquon Barkley every year in the draft. So I think it's very useful. He's one that they're going to have for many years. And even if the Giants do struggle to end this season and they get a high pick, they can take a quarterback in the next draft. So that should not be a problem for the Giants. You're not supposed to go from 3-13 to a playoff team in one season. Rebuilding takes some time, and I think that the rebuild, this team has the talent to win games. They just need to stop shooting themselves in the foot, and the offensive line just got to step it up. That's all they need to do. So, the Giants for the rest of the season, I'll keep you guys updated with them, but my 10-6 prediction for the beginning of the season definitely doesn't look like it's going to hold up. So, we're going to move on to Week 7 of the NFL. So last night, the Broncos just blew the doors off the Cardinals 45-10. Josh Rosen looked really iffy. That team is really one that's just really off. It's just a shame to see the Cardinals going like that. Feel bad for Larry Fitzgerald. Definitely feel like his time in the NFL is winding down, and it's not going to be that great of an end. And anyways, let's move on to Sunday. So Sunday, we got the Titans and Chargers in London. I think the Chargers take that game. I think the Titans' offensive line, what we saw last week, wow, that looked almost as bad, if not just as bad as the Giants' offensive line. But I'm going to take the Chargers in that game. Their offense is really good. Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen. Phillip Rivers done really good. So I see the Chargers winning that game. Then we go to Jacksonville. Houston versus Jacksonville. That's a tough game. Houston definitely looking to step back. Get ease their way back into this hunt in the division. But Jacksonville, I think they've got a lot to play for. They got embarrassed by the Dallas Cowboys. That Cowboys offense isn't anything that special. And they got the Jacksonville defense, who's arguably the best defense in the league, got torched. Giving up 40 to the Cowboys is just unacceptable. So I think the Jaguars will be playing with a lot in that game. I think the Jaguars will pull that game out. Panthers-Eagles. Last week, the Panthers against the Redskins. I mean, DJ Moore didn't help them with those 2 fumbles, but that offense just seemed to sputter out there. So, and they tried to come back late, but it wasn't enough. So, I think they going against the Eagles. I think people were kind of giving too much to the Eagles because obviously the Eagles just played a Giants team that isn't that great. So, I think the Panthers have more to play with, knowing that if the Panthers lose here, they could be losing touch with the Saints if they want that NFC South. So I'm going to go with the Panthers this week against the Eagles. Then we go out Vikings and the Jets. Sam Darnold has been good. He hasn't been fantastic, but he hasn't been bad. So, but Kirk Cousins, and then you got Stephon Diggs, and Adam Thielen is becoming a top receiver in this NFL. I love Adam Thielen, what he's been doing lately. He's got 100 yards in every game. That is outstanding. So I think that's going to be too much for the Jets defense to handle, and I think the Vikings take that game in MetLife Stadium. Then we go Patriots at Bears. That's going to be a tough game. I think the Bears provide a tough matchup for the Patriots. It's in Chicago, so I think that could help the Bears, but I don't think that's enough of a difference to stop Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. That offense, look, they clicked last week against Kansas City. That was a huge win for New England. Really showed that they are still a top team in that AFC. So I think the Patriots take that game. Then we got the Bills and the Colts. That's kind of one of our weaker games this week. The Bills have really struggled, but they did re-sign Derek Anderson. He's going to be starting this week instead of Nate Peterman, while Josh Allen's hurt. So I'm going to have to go with the Colts, though, that week. I think Andrew Luck, he's gotten back into the swing of things. So I think Andrew Luck is definitely going to step it up. Eric Ebron has really come on strong. I really like what Eric Ebron's done. He's always got some drop balls, but I think he'll be okay when it comes down to it. So I got the Colts in that game. Browns and Buccaneers. I think the Browns, after last week, they really didn't have what they needed to do against the Chargers. They didn't have the team to match up with them. But I think this is a good bounce-back game for the Browns. So I think the Browns can go into Tampa and beat Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers. I think that's a good game for the Browns to step back and get another win and keep their playoff hopes alive. Lions and the Dolphins. I think that's a good game. It's in Miami. So I definitely think, we saw Brock Osweiler step it up last week. And that was really cool to see him beat the Bears. I think they can keep rolling and really keep in touch with that AFC East and beat the Lions. I think the Lions have been a good team this season, but I just don't think they have enough to beat the Dolphins in Miami. And this is one of the best games of the week, Saints and the Ravens. Great matchup. One of the best offenses going up against one of the best defenses. It's in Baltimore, so I got to give the slight edge to Baltimore. I think their defense can keep Drew Brees and company in check. And that offense, they were doing all right. Alex Collins was stepping up against Tennessee. So I think that offense can do a lot. So I think that could be a really close game come down to the wire. I'm going to give the Ravens a slight edge in that game. Then we go Cowboys and Redskins. That's going to be a big game for this NFC East. That could really show who's going to move on and really pull ahead in this NFC East. Can the Cowboys repeat what they did last week? Is that offense for real? I personally don't think so, but those Cowboys just need to develop consistency, and if they can beat the Redskins in Washington, that could be a huge win for the Cowboys and could propel them the rest of the season. Same with the Redskins. The Redskins have really been kind of quiet on the radar. Alex Smith has done really well, and they were doing well with Adrian Peterson, but the Redskins need to show that they're for real. The Cowboys' defense has been pretty good this season, so this could be a good test for that offense. If they can get rolling there and win that game, I think they can pull ahead as legitimate favorites for the NFC East. Next, we have the Rams at the 49ers. I think that one is kind of one of those games where you just got to pick the Rams. You cannot pick against the Rams against the 49ers. The 49ers gave the Packers a great run on Monday night last week, and they just could not seal the deal. And that was kind of disappointing. They have some talent, but they have nothing compared to the Rams. I think the Rams offense, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, they do have Cooper Kupp out, but I don't think that's going to be enough to knock him down. They got Robert Woods. They got everything you need on that team, so I got to go the Rams, as a heavy favorite that week. I'm picking the Rams. And the Sunday night game this week, the Bengals and the Chiefs. This could be a good game. I think it all depends on what that Bengals offense can do. But that Chiefs defense definitely didn't look that great against New England. And if they play like that again against the Bengals, it could be another shootout. But I think the Chiefs, it's in Arrowhead, so I think the Chiefs got to have the advantage. I'm going to pick the Chiefs over the Bengals. I just think they're the more dynamic team, more explosive, and Tyreek Hill really has just made a huge difference on that team. And at Monday Night Football, the aforementioned Giants against the Falcons in Atlanta. Both teams have struggled this year. Falcons losing a lot of close games, 2-4. This season really could be on the line here. So I gotta take the Falcons in a good one. If the offensive line for the Giants can step up, then anything can happen. That game could turn into a shootout. Both those defenses haven't been the best this season. A lot of injuries decimating that Falcons defense. So I gotta really look at it as the Giants offense is going to determine that game. I think if that offensive line can step up, Eli has time to make some plays. Saquon Barkley gets loose. The Giants could pull a mini upset there. And really, I think the loser of this game, really their season is kind of down for the count. So we'll have to see what happens that game. Definitely one I'll be watching. And that's all I got here today, guys. So I want to thank you guys for listening. And I'll see you guys next week.